I'm here today with the iconic Ross of Ross the Boss to talk about the upcoming new record, Legacy of Blood, Fire, and Steel, out April 28th on AFM Records. Perhaps the perfect way to celebrate 15 years of Ross the Boss and 4 records. How are you doing today?
I'm well. I'm well.
Is,
Can't,
is this the perfect way to celebrate the history of Ross the Boss and those 4 records, or did you thought maybe in the back of your mind, even a live record would be a nice way to also celebrate that same history?
yeah, well, I think a live record for the band is going to come up sooner or later because we're so incendiary a live unit, and the greatest the greatest songs hits, if you can call it that, was AFM's idea. It wasn't my idea. So they did it to accentuate my upcoming tour in 2 weeks. And it was very nice touch of them. Just listen, go, Ross. You're going to pick three songs from all our AFM records. I think we started in 2010, 28, and it's very nice of them. It's really nice, and it's a beautiful package, red vinyl, great artwork. I mean, it's really very nice.
Besides picking the songs, how much deeper did you go with your involvement in terms of setting up the overall track listing, the album artwork? How deep did you go with this record?
Well, my singer Mark Lopes did the artwork. He's very, very, very talented graphic artist, and he really helped greatly on that. As far as the songs, you definitely have, when you make a record, you definitely have your favorite songs, and these songs have seemed to last in my mind. But I knew the best ones of each record. So
It was easy for you.
pardon?
It was easy for you to put together.
Pretty easy. It was easy. But my history goes a lot further back. So as a guitar.
You have a very long and well documented history, and I think a lot of that history, as far as Ross the Boss, really becomes also defined when you listen to this album, because I know it's a compilation. I know it's like a greatest hits, like you called it. But one of the things that I really notice is that when they put it together and the style that they put it, because it's songs from the first album, then it moves into the second album, then third album, fourth album. It's not like they just threw songs all over the place. There's a sense of sequence, of historical sequence from beginning to end, that I think makes this album feel more like an album and almost less like a compilation. Do you see it the same way?
Yeah, I mean, when I was listening to it, in order, I was like saying, it's pretty good. It's pretty, there's like a timeline to it, because the lineup changes on album 3, right? I had my German band, um, you know, and then I switched to an American lineup, and you can tell where the lineup changes, of course, but yeah, it's pretty. It's a good listen.
Yeah, it's really nice setup. It like I said, it showcases, I think, the past of Ross the Boss, but also the present and perhaps the future when you see that lineup change. Because you see the first half of the record, there's perhaps more of a sound connection to Manowar, and then the second half of this record, which is album 3 and 4, it's more of Ross the Boss DNA. Do you feel like that there's been that growth, that separation?
I think so. I think once Mark came on board, he has a more of a modern, kind of a brutal delivery on his vocals, and you can definitely tell. I think the first 2 records are more, as you said, power metal. But I think we just finished a new single for the summer for AFM, and it's pretty much power metal again. So, I might as well do the music that I'm credited to invent.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's kind of hard to walk away from that sound. It's the sound is who you are, and who you are is that sound. So it's nearly impossible to separate the two.
Yeah, I mean, I just being honest is the one way to put it. I think I'm incapable of faking or shucking and jiving, as BB King would call it. Shucking and jiving. He was my favorite guitar player. So it's hard. It's hard for me because I'm pretty much incapable of it. So you know,
You mentioned Mark. His range is outstanding. As a songwriter, like when you're looking at making a new Rasta Boss album and you have a vocalist like that, how much more does that give you in terms of freedom of creativity to go almost anywhere you want to go with any song that you want to write?
he's he's quite how do you say well, I say he's quite talented, but he's an aggressive at the same time. So he pushes himself to go where he thinks he has to go, and he's always there when it's time to sing. If he has to get up an A above A, he can do that. So, and I mean, we really don't even tune down. So he's got a really good set of vocal cords. He's been very strong too. He's very durable as well. He can go show to show to show to show. I mean, we've pushed him pretty hard in the past, and it's going to happen in 2 weeks. But you can't go to the well every single time on tour. You have to rush the singer. So, but he's very, very strong.
Of all the great singers that you've worked with, where does he rank for you? Is he on an island of his own, or do you see a lot of pieces of other singers incorporated in his own style and his own delivery?
Well, I mean, no one. I mean, there was only one Eric Adams. There was only one Eric Adams, and we all know that he's. I think Eric is um, he's in a category all by himself. He's just probably could be the greatest metal singer ever, besides Rob Halford and guys like Ian Gillan, people like that. But Eric Adams, but Mark is just. I think he's right up there. I think he's. I think he's just because of his versatility. I think Mark can, and bring it with the best of them.
You mentioned hitting the road again. You guys did an extensive tour, took some weeks off. Now another tour comes. When it comes to playing live songs, what Ross the Boss song gets the crowd most excited?
Made in the Shadows, Denied by the Cross. Those are good ones.
Are,
Off
are,
the last
are those some of your favorite ones to play, or do you have your own personal favorite?
play, and because we really don't use tapes or pre-record, but on this instance we do, and it kind of like it gets people's ears because it's not all night. Because if you do things at a concert and you do it all the time, it's not getting anyone excited. After a while, it's just there's nothing new about it. But if you put it in once, it sounds fresh.
And what gets you excited, considering the longevity that you've had, the career that you have had, the shows that you have played? I mean, you pretty much have seen it all. So, what gets you out of bed? I was going to say out of the tour bed on that bunk bed in the bus to go and play a gig.
Well, I think every gig is important. We play. There's no small shows, no small crowds to me. Club, theater, arena, stadium, wherever we're playing. It's just we prefer to play in bigger places and fill them up, but it doesn't matter where we play. I'm just excited to get up and strap on my guitar and go out there and do and do what makes me happy. And that's what makes me happy all my life. So, I mean, I always tell people as long as I have a guitar in my hands, I'm a happy guy. It just that doesn't hasn't changed. It
You're
just
a
hasn't
simple
changed.
man. You're a simple man. Just give me my guitar.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You mentioned a live record is perhaps in the future, a new song coming out, this tour coming out. When can fans expect a new full-length Ross the Boss album?
Oh, it'll be soon because now that I gave AFM a new single, it's called One and All. They're like chomping at the bit now. Now that they gave me a schedule, and I go, oh my God, they gave me a schedule. So it could be worse. Complaining about it.
Is that your least favorite part of the music business, having those kind of schedules? Do you prefer to just grab your guitar, play shows, and have fun?
Yeah, I just prefer, if I need a record, I just prefer like dreaming about it and having it, because the whole of doing a new record is just, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
What's your least favorite part of that process? The recording, the mixing, or just even the creative side?
The creative side, it's all good when it comes together very quickly and works very well, but it's on sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes the ideas are it takes a while to get 11 songs together. It's not so easy, and in my case, I'm not an artist that repeats himself. Like, you can listen to some bands, and the songwriting is the same. It's very similar with each other. And you know what I'm talking about. It's like the songwriting. You hear these songs, and wasn't that from there? Isn't, it's like, but in my case, I have to have each song being very, very special to make a record. So
It,
it could be,
it's that problem of being difficult to see the forest from the trees, if you will.
yeah. I mean, and these great songs don't fall out of the sky. You know what I
No,
mean?
I'm sure they don't, and they have so many little pieces to them that makes them so catchy, so hooky. Great
Yeah.
melodies, great guitar sound. I always felt, and listening to this compilation, I felt it even strongly that Ross the Boss sound or Ross the Boss experience falls under two pillars: great guitar playing, outstanding guitar playing, and outstanding vocals. Is that the DNA?
Well, that's definitely part of it. I mean, the singer is 50% of the song, and the music is the other 50. And if you're only is the song counts first, and then the singing and the band. But there can't be any weak spots. It just can't. You don't have anything.
I saw you guys perform live. I think it was 2018 in Portugal. You guys played Vagos Metal Fest there. It seems
Uh-huh.
like an eternity ago, 5 years ago. The crowd was insane for you guys. Everybody was so excited to see you guys play. That sort of level of love affair that the fans have with Ross the Boss and with you specifically. Does that still surprise you to this day that fans have that special place for the music that you've created?
It's a special place in my heart for them, and all the fans of beautiful fans. They know that if they come see my band, it's 100%. They're getting a show. They're getting everything that we got. We lay it all out on the line every show, no matter, as I said, no matter where we are. And but they know that. I mean, that's been my the moniker of that Ross is going to destroy the place. And they got it at the Barcelona Rock Fest last year. They got it in Sweden Rock Fest last year. They got it in Poland. They got it. The promoters know. I mean, we're crowd killers. And we just were in Houston last week for the Hell's Heroes Fest. And we just come on and bring it and drop the hammer on people. But people expect it. People expect it. you know and we've had that reputation and we live up to it. My band is, they know the job, and the job is kill the crowd
Is
in
it
a good.
difficult to be in Ross the Boss's band?
No,
Is the bar
it's
high?
not. It's not. It's easy to be in my band. I treat them very well. I treat my boys very well, and they know it. And um it's we're very, very responsible, you know and we don't do it. You know our, our bass player Dirk Schlachter, he was ex Gamma Ray. He lives in Hamburg and Cancun. I live in New York. I live in Queens here. Mark is from Boston area, and his girlfriend is in Los Angeles. Sean is from San Diego. So we don't really get a chance to practice and rehearse that much.
Dunkin' Donuts.
So
All right.
everybody has to have their shit together, and they do.
You mentioned at the start of this conversation, in terms of the legacy that you've had, we obviously can't forget your time with Manowar, those first 6 records, records that defined my personal youth. I don't think I would be sitting here with you talking about Ross the Boss today if it wasn't for those records that kind of paved the way for me to get into metal,
Yeah.
and to get into classic heavy metal and power metal. When you look back at the legacy that you've created there, do you keep a relationship open with those guys, or is that something that it's beautiful for you, but it's in the past and you're just more looking forward?
Well, my relationship with the old band that I invented, is it's a little rocky, but it's okay. Um, the legacy, those records can't be denied. Those first 6 records defined a genre. Especially battle hymns. Those first records defined the genre that we call power metal. And because what was there before that, if you really think about it? And of course, Ronnie Dio had bits of power metal in his stuff, but I would say that those records were a defining power metal, and because I had never heard that phrase before, and then they started describing this, that what we did is power metal. So, okay, I'll accept that. I don't know. My relationship with my old band, it's okay, but I just look at the future.
Yeah,
You
it's,
know,
it's it's always better to look forward than to look backwards. When you
yeah,
look too much backwards, you end up tripping. Uh,
yeah. Nothing I could do about what happened, or the past. Nothing we can do about that, but
I,
we can shape the future.
before I ask you my last question, I gotta share the story with you. I saw Manowar play. I think it was Hill to England tour. You guys played in Portugal in Lisbon, and I went to see you guys play. And during the sound check, my freaking shirt was doing this
There
outside the venue. Sorry,
was my sound check or their sound check.
your sound check.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, my sound man is a genius. He's great. Yeah, he
It
does.
was crazy, crazy loud. It's something that not only you helped define and create a genre, what you set the bar as far as that genre is concerned is undeniable, and the impact that it had on me as a young fan going to a show, it carried through. And I just wanted to say that you're still doing that now with Ross the Boss. When I saw you guys, like I said, in Portugal in 2018, I was blown away. It was you allowed me to relive my youth for
That's the
45
good thing.
minutes of your set.
Yeah, that is a good thing.
Yeah, you're
Thank
able to do that for a lot of people, and I, on behalf of those people that maybe don't get a chance to tell you, I want to tell you that we really appreciate it and we thank you for it.
You're welcome.
One
It's
last
a
question for you.
great honor to hear that.
Thank you. One last question for you. I don't want to take too much of your time.
Well, I
Uh,
got to take. Okay.
those 6 records that you did with Manowar, if you had to be stuck on a desert island and pick one, which one would it be?
Oh, today, if I was stuck on today, Hail to England. But tomorrow it's going to be Battle Hymns, because Battle Hymns started it all. So
Is it going to change every day for you? Like you change it every day?
probably.
Depends on what mood you're in. Okay, I get it. I get it. I mean, it's really hard. You can close your eyes and pick any of them. They're all great. So there's no such thing as one bad one. So once again, I want to really thank you for taking the time today. I really enjoyed listening to this compilation because it gave me the history of Ross the Boss, past, present, and future. It sounds phenomenal. It feels like a record. It doesn't feel like a compilation. So I really enjoyed it from that point of view. It felt like I was listening to a brand new record from you and not just a bunch of songs thrown in together in order to help you promote a tour. So thank you for the record. Thank you for the time.
You're welcome, and it's good hearing that. I like hearing that. That's music to my ears.
Yeah, I mean, even how you guys put that instrumental track in the middle of the album to kind of divide side A to side B. All of that to me was absolutely pure genius, because I was expecting the record to be a song from the first album, then a song from the fourth album, then a song from the third, like all over the place, which a lot of compilations are like that. But this one actually had thought process, beginning, middle, and end. I loved it.
Yeah. Damn. Thank you for noticing.
Thank you for taking the time. All the best. Enjoy yourself.
Thank you, sir.
Take care.